Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey, back with another video, and this video is going to be my post-trade deadline NHL playoff predictions. So the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs, we're going to go through it, and this is a fun video to make because it's fresh off the trades. Yeah, the NHL trade deadline was a little dead in terms of the day itself, but throughout the last couple of weeks, man, it's been busy and some big names have been traded. So we're going to go through the rosters, potential teams that could jump into a playoff spot. So like the Sens, for example. I kind of adjusted the standings a bit based on my own predictions, but I do think the Sens could be in here. They're not in these playoff predictions because they're currently not in a spot, and we're going to see what happens because, hey, the Sens are pesky usually towards the season's end, so I wonder with the Sens, man. But Penguins, Islanders, to me, they're good bets to be in the wildcard spots, but don't count out the Sens. I would even say don't count out the Panthers. I mean, don't count out any team ever, but I do think those are the teams to mention. And with the Western Conference, Calgary Flames maybe. Past that, I feel like the teams that are in the mix will be in the mix towards the end. So we're going to look through the first round matchups and go all the way to a Stanley Cup champ. And you guys give me your thoughts. You know what? We're all going to have different predictions. My predictions are obviously going to change probably as the season goes on and before the playoffs. But this is my recency bias based on the trades that were made and based on my feeling and gut takes what's going to happen. So let's start at the top here. And the first round matchup, Boston Bruins 1 seed versus the wild card Pittsburgh Penguins. Toronto Maple Leafs versus Tampa Bay Lightning, which seems pretty locked up. Carolina Hurricanes versus New York Islanders, and New Jersey Devils versus New York Rangers. And then the other side, we've got Dallas Stars versus Winnipeg Jets. We've got Minnesota Wild versus the Colorado Avalanche, and we've got Vegas Golden Knights versus LA Kings, possible Johnny Quick revenge, and Seattle Kraken versus the Edmonton Oilers. So, okay, let's go through these. Boston Bruins, I feel like this is like a last dance scenario. And with Toronto Tampa, I feel like it's going to come down to Vasilevsky again. If Vasilevsky is Vasilevsky the way he's been sometimes in the playoffs, Toronto's going to have a really tough time winning this series. But with Toronto's additions, I'm going to play devil's advocate and say the Leafs get past the first round. I don't know how far they're going to go past that, but it's going to happen at some point. So if it doesn't happen this year, I mean, the Leafs are going to have to make major changes. So I feel like it's all or nothing. I think the Leafs have that desperation 10 times more this year, and we saw it last year, but I mean, as I said, Vasilevsky stole some games. So Toronto-Boston rematch. Let's go to the next second round matchup here. Islanders-Devils. So you go from Devils-Rangers to Islanders-Rangers, and you know what? I think the Devils could beat the Rangers. I think the Devils have shown they have the Rangers number in season, but playoffs are a different animal. The Rangers have that playoff experience, and they've brought Stanley Cup champs in Patrick Kane and Tarasenko, guys that know how to win. Shesterkin, man, he has more to offer. If Shesterkin's playoff Shesterkin like he was last year at times, there's going to be a lot of teams struggling with the Rangers in this playoffs. And again, they could go all the way. We'll see what I have here. Dallas Stars versus Winnipeg Jets. Minnesota Wild versus the Avalanche. So Minnesota, for me, Bill Guerin made some good moves. But I do have the Avs versus the Dallas Stars. What a matchup that would be in the second round. And LA Kings versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Seattle Kraken Oilers. Kraken get a good look at the playoffs, but Oilers, McDavid, Draisaitl that experience. And we get a Jack Eichel versus Connor McDavid matchup. Those second round matchups look freaking tasty. All right, let's go back to the East here. Eastern Conference Final. Hey, you know what, guys? Maybe this is a lazy take, but I'm picking, in my opinion, the two current best teams, maybe on paper, but also, I mean, they're two of the, top 6 teams in the league. Rangers versus Bruins. I have a hard time wrapping my head around the Rangers really. I feel like there's no in between, and I'll say this right now on this video. I think there's no in between. I think right now, as I feel, I think the Rangers either get upset in the first round or they go all the way to the conference finals or cup finals. I think there's no in between. I think if they win that first round, especially against an opponent like the Devils, I think that momentum carries them a bit. But if they lose, I think the Devils, that momentum would drive them as well. So to me, the Rangers there's no in between. First round exit or all the way. And we'll see if I have them all the way. So Dallas Stars versus the Avs. What a matchup, man. And I'm itching. I want to take the Stars. I really do. But that rematch in the conference finals is too intriguing to me. I will say I could swap Dallas and Avs here, and I feel like Dallas Edmonton's a realistic conference final. I feel like Vegas Dallas is a realistic conference final. So I think any of those 4 teams could make it to the conference final. But if it's this matchup and both teams have, I would say, question marks in terms of goaltending, I actually think the Oilers have a shot against the Avs this year, and I'm taking Oilers-Rangers Cup final. What a matchup that would be. That would be absolutely insane. I could also see Oilers-Bruins here, but I will say this, and this is where I have the outcome. I think if Connor McDavid gets to the Stanley Cup final, I think truly he is a guy that would take it over, and Draisaitl and co. So I am going to stick with my Oilers preseason pick, and maybe some people expected that. But I do think between the Oilers, Rangers, and Bruins, I have a decent confidence level that unless the Lightning and Avs get on a run, and I mean, they could get another cup because it's just they're that good and they're that experienced. But in terms of new teams to win a cup in recent memory, Rangers, Oilers, Bruins, I think those are easy favorites to have. As I said, I think if the Oilers get in that position, so I'll just give you guys a scenario, an alternate universe scenario here. So we're taking the Oilers out of that scenario, right? Say Vegas wins. This is my secondary prediction. So Oilers win the cup, win it for Ben. Vegas here. We'll say Dallas. Ottinger, it starts buzzing. Oh. Dallas starts buzzing. And we get the Stars versus Vegas. I honestly can see a scenario because Ottinger's just on a run. Dallas Stars are the cup final. They get a secondary opportunity. Rangers maybe do screw up that conference final. Bruins versus Dallas Stars. That would be a fun Stanley Cup final. Not necessarily for some fan bases. And the Boston Bruins get their last dance. Bergeron and Krejci win another cup. And they retire. Boom. And this is what I'll say, guys. If the Leafs did lose to the Bruins in a scenario like this, you have to understand that Bergeron will be done after this, potentially. Krejci will be done after this. If the Leafs do face the Bruins and they lose here and they face them again in a future playoff, that would be the opportunity where I think the Leafs could exercise the demons. I think the Leafs could exercise the demons this year with this team. Guys, it's so 50-50. When I look at the matchups, Leafs-Tampa, Leafs-Bruins, or Leafs-Tampa, Tampa-Bruins, to me it's so 50-50. I just think there is a very good chance. The only team that I really think matches up in so many regards is the Rangers. And this is no shot against the Islanders, Devils, Hurricanes. It's going to be really tough for those teams, especially with the momentum, to knock off a Boston, Tampa, or Toronto in the conference finals. If Toronto gets there, that means they've exercised demons and they're buzzing. If Boston gets there, they're really feeling the last dance. And if Tampa gets there, well, I mean, Tampa's killer instinct. We know how it goes. So to me, right now, my two top picks for the Stanley Cup are Edmonton and Boston. Boston's got that President's Trophy curse maybe lingering on them, but I do think they're a team that they're so complete right now. I mean, the Bertuzzi edition, Orlov, Hathaway, and they've already been so good. Allmark, the Vezina candidate, probably the favorite, right? I mean, I would say clear favorite. And the goalie goal. I mean, Boston, just everything's going right. So maybe it's too good to be true, but if they can figure it out, they got the experience, get that President's Trophy curse out of here. And yeah, Edmonton, Boston would be my two favorites right now. So give me your thoughts, guys, in the comments. Who you think can win the Stanley Cup fresh off the trade deadline? As I said, subscribe, like, comment, notification bell, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next video or stream. Peace.